Well, those are the basics of casting, and really there's nothing else to learn. Develop your own technique on those lines. Now when it comes to tackle, you do have a tremendous choice. I use several different kinds myself, mainly because I don't like being stuck with the same stuff every time. Makes a change to use a light rod, a heavy rod, or a fixed spool reel, whatever you want to use. Casting them is more or less the same, just a few tricks. Fixed spool casting, I suppose the most important thing is to get yourself a good reel with a wide spool, fairly deep, and more important still, a line lay system that puts the line on evenly from front to back. The drag washers are very important as well, and also this drive shaft. On a weak reel, they'll bend on the first cast. I've never liked the idea of locking a spool down hard with the drag washers, because drag washers are actually designed so the spool doesn't lock. A good reel seat's essential for fixed spool casting, because a fixed spool tends to wave around a lot on the rod. Screw seats are really the only choice. As for rods, well, essentially there's no difference between a multiplier rod and a fixed spool rod, except that perhaps a little hardness in the tip does help. But again, if you overdo it, you won't be able to control your pendulum. This is a carbon fibre rod, so it is a little stiffer than a glass rod. It's also a two-piece rod. Two sections are joined at the centre by a spigot. There's no harm in that, despite misconceptions about how a rod should be put together. You don't have to have a long tip and a short butt. Clean your rings out, and on a fixed spool make sure you've got plenty of space between your butt ring and the reel. That's what controls the line flow. Strong leaders again. Fixed spools tend to snatch, so if anything you'll have to go up in breaking strain, perhaps to 60 pounds for a 5-ounce lead. I don't like bail arm wires, so I always cut them off. Takes 2 minutes with a hacksaw and saves a lot of problems. And as I said, I don't like locking my clutch. Instead, I drill a hole in the spool and lock the reel with a stainless steel clip and a piece of nylon which is tied to the stand of the reel. Absolute security, no strain on the drag washers. One thing a fixed spool will do is tear the end off your finger. Just a little piece of rubber is all you need. Also, make sure you've got a good grip on the reel and a deep grip on the line. Don't have it on the end of your finger. And apart from that, there are really no differences between fixed spool and multiplier casting. It's the same easy swing, the same power, the same follow through. Identical. Long rods are the latest development in shore fishing. 13 foot or more is now available in a blank weight of less than 10 ounces. The only difference really is you control the reel with your left hand, and that means you must get all crossbars well away from your thumb. I take level winds off and replace crossbars as needed. The other problem with long rods is they impose quite great strains on the reel. Choose a tough one. All you need below your hand is about 9 inches of blank for a secure grip. And above you just put a hand grip in wherever suits you. About 30 inches. Lots of power involved in this technique. Tie your lead on securely as you can. This is a uni knot. Make a loop, wrap the line round it 5 full turns, pull it tight. slide it down to the loop on the back of the weight. Trim it so there's about 1/8 of an inch left protruding. Now you need to protect that knot. I use these pieces of insulation tube, cheaper than split links, cheaper than swivels. Several ways to cast a long rod, all of them very good. All of them will give you 100 yards plus with no effort. Most simple cast, just lay it out on the beach, pull it through, flick it over. 100 yards with baits every time. Winding in with the reel at the bottom is a real pain. Hurts your wrist, almost impossible. I use 2 reel seats so that I can move the reel about a foot further up the rod. Gives me much better leverage. Easy fishing. Drop it back again for the next cast. Becomes second nature after a while. Now to wind your cast up a bit further, go back to that long body rotation of the first exercise. Pull through, cast. Looked easy, was easy, about 180 yards. Long rods are tremendously valuable if you have back problems or if you're confined to a wheelchair. To some extent their length compensates for body rotation. You can literally sit on the beach and cast 100 yards. No back movement at all. No need to twist yourself. Good easy fishing. You need about a 13-foot rod to do that properly. Of course, the big advantage of any long rod is that you can do a tremendous distance with a pendulum style. Dig yourself well in for it. Just a long, lazy swing. Hit the rod at the last second. Out she goes. 240 yards or more.